If your bank just told you what you can borrow in Australia, be skeptic, because there's a very good chance that number is wrong. And I don't mean by $10,000 or $20,000. I mean potentially by $100,000 or more. Most Australians think borrowing power is just about salary. It's not. Two people earning the exact same income can walk into two different banks and get completely different answers. And today, I'm going to show you the 7 biggest things lenders look at in 2026, including the mistakes quietly destroying people's borrowing capacity without them even realizing it. I'm JT, and if you're planning to buy property in Australia anytime soon, this video could genuinely save you years of frustration. Let's get into it. Number 1. Your credit card limit is probably hurting you more than you think, and this catches people all the time. A lot of Australians think, I pay my card off every month, so it doesn't matter. Wrong. Banks don't care what your balance is. They care what you could spend tomorrow. So if you've got a $10,000 credit card limit, lenders may treat that as future debt risk, even if the card is sitting at $0. And depending on the lender, that single card could reduce your borrowing capacity by $40,000 to $50,000. That's massive. I've even seen people with multiple cards lose over $100,000 in borrowing power without realizing why. So before applying, close unused cards, reduce limits where possible, and clean this up early. This is one of the fastest wins on the entire list. Number 2, HECS or help debt. And this one matters more now because repayments increase significantly with higher wages and indexation changes. Here's the issue. HECS repayments reduce your usable income in the eyes of the bank. So even if you earn a strong salary, lenders assess what's left after those repayments come out. Now, this does not mean you should blindly pay off HECS. For many people, that's the wrong move. But if your remaining balance is relatively small, maybe $10,000 or $15,000, paying it off before applying could noticeably improve your borrowing power, especially if it pushes you into a lower repayment bracket. Run the numbers first with a broker, but this is one of those small moves that can create a surprisingly large result. Number 3. This next one is where a lot of applications quietly fall apart. Your spending habits. Since the Banking Royal Commission, lenders don't just look at your payslip anymore. They look at your actual bank statements, and yes, they see everything. Uber Eats, Afterpay, Sportsbet, random subscriptions, food delivery 3 times a week. It all paints a picture of how you manage money. And here's the important part. Banks aren't just assessing whether you can repay the loan today, they're assessing whether you'll still be able to repay it if rates rise again. That's why cleaning up your spending 90 days before applying matters so much, because those statements become your financial resume. If your accounts look disciplined, your application looks stronger immediately. And by the way, this is where a lot of people misunderstand borrowing power completely. Most people assume salary is the biggest factor. Sometimes it's not. I've seen borrowers on lower incomes get approved for more than higher income earners simply because their financial position looked cleaner and lower risk. That's how important this stuff is. Number 4, declare every legitimate income source. And I mean every legitimate income source. A lot of Australians accidentally understate their borrowing power because they forget what lenders may actually count. Overtime, bonuses, rental income, freelance work, side businesses. If the income is consistent and properly documented, many lenders will include at least part of it in their assessment. The key word is consistency. Banks love stable patterns. So if you've been earning additional income for 12 months or longer, make sure it's documented properly through tax returns, bank statements, invoices, or payslips. Do not leave usable income sitting on the table. Number 5. This one shocks people the most. Different lenders can give the exact same borrower completely different borrowing limits. Same income, same deposit, same job, different result. ANZ, CBA, Westpac, NAB. They all assess risk differently. Some are more generous with overtime income, some are stricter on living expenses, and some are more favorable toward investors. And the gap between lenders can easily be $50,000 to $100,000 in borrowing capacity, sometimes even more. That's why walking into only your everyday bank can be a huge mistake, because you're seeing one formula out of dozens. A good mortgage broker compares your numbers across multiple lenders simultaneously. That's where massive differences start showing up. Number 6, reduce your genuine living expenses before applying. Now, this doesn't mean pretending to live on 2-minute noodles for a month. Banks are pretty good at spotting unrealistic numbers, but they absolutely care about recurring expenses, gym memberships you never use, streaming services you forgot about, subscriptions quietly draining your account every month. These things add up fast, and every extra expense slightly reduces what the bank believes you can comfortably repay. The cleaner your financial footprint looks, the stronger your application becomes. Simple. And finally, number 7. This is the strategy that ties everything together. Use a mortgage broker before you apply anywhere, not after, before, because the difference between a good broker and walking blindly into a bank can literally change what suburb you buy in, what property you qualify for, and whether you get approved at all. A broker understands which lenders are more generous right now, which lenders dislike certain income types, which lenders are aggressive in 2026, and which lenders are tightening up. They also know how to structure applications properly before submission, and that matters a lot more than people realize. And the best part is, in most cases, brokers are paid by the lender, not by you. So before you apply for anything, speak with a broker first. Seriously, it can save you an enormous amount of money and wasted time. Quick recap: reduce your credit card limits, consider whether paying off small HECS balances makes sense, clean up your spending before applying, declare all legitimate income, compare multiple lenders, reduce unnecessary expenses, and use a mortgage broker early. Do even a few of these properly, and your borrowing capacity could look dramatically different. And in Australia's property market, that difference matters. A lot. If you found this useful, subscribe right now. I post daily videos breaking down Australian property, finance, borrowing power, and real numbers that actually matter in 2026. No fluff, no fake guru nonsense. Just practical information that helps you make smarter financial decisions. I'm JT, and I'll see you in the next one.